Hi Nana. We were learning about the hydrogen chloride gas. So in that physical properties we are learning. So now let us learn the another physical property of gas, solubility. Another physical property known as solubility. Solubility of gas. Okay. See, actually this hydrogen chloride gas, it is extremely soluble in water. It is extremely soluble in water. Okay, it is extremely soluble in water. Uh, for example, one volume, one volume of one volume of water, one volume of water can dissolve. One volume of water can dissolve 450 volumes of HCl gas. 450 volume of HCl can gas. HCl gas can dissolve in it. Okay, so that much. For example, 1 milliliter of water. 1 milliliter of water. 1 milliliter of water can dissolve 450 milliliter of HCl gas. Suppose if it is 1 liter of water, if it is 1 liter of water, it can dissolve. It can dissolve 450 liters. 450 liters of HCl gas. So like this. That means every one volume of water can dissolve 450 volume of HCl gas. Okay. So that is why HCl gas is said to be extremely soluble in water. There is an experiment. There is an experiment known as fountain experiment. Okay, to show high solubility of this HCl gas. Okay, so we learn about the experiment related to solubility. So that experiment is known as fountain experiment. Generally, with the help of fountain experiment, the solubility of any gas can be shown. Okay. To show the high solubility of HCl gas. See, actually, in this fountain experiment, we use a round bottom flask, a round bottom flask. Okay, this is a round bottom flask. It is fitted with a rubber stopper. It is having two holes. A rubber stopper containing two holes is fitted. Before fitting this one, so this glass jar, it is filled with this round bottom jar, it is filled with a dry HCl gas. So what is this one? Dry HCl gas. See, HCl gas is invisible. Just in order to show you that this is filled with dry HCl gas, simply I am putting some dots there. Okay. So now dry HCl gas is filled in the round bottom flask, and into this flask just you introduce a jet pipe, a jet pipe. Jet pipe means a very small, small pipe. That means whose diameter is very less. It is around 1 centimeter diameter. Okay, less 1 centimeter diameter. So such pipe is said to be jet pipe. Okay, just introduce the jet pipe uh, till the bottom. Okay, till the but don't touch it. Don't touch to the bottom. Okay, just it is introduced. Jet pipe is introduced to the round bottom flask. So this is called a jet pipe. Okay, jet pipe, jet jet pipe, or else jet tube. We may call it as jet tube also. Jet tube. Okay, and into another tube, just you introduce a dropper. A dropper is introduced. So in this dropper is half filled with water. This dropper is half filled with water. Okay. So now this setup, a round bottom flask, okay, which is containing dry HCl gas, and it is filled with a jet tube and a dropper which is having half filled with water. So now this apparatus, it is clamped inversely. It is clamped inversely. Okay. Let us see how it is clamped. One hole is having jet tube. One hole is having jet tube. Okay. Another hole is having a dropper. A dropper. Okay. So the other end, of the jet tube, it is introduced. The other end of the jet tube, it is introduced into blue litmus solution. It is introduced into a blue litmus solution. What is this one? Blue litmus solution. Blue litmus solution. Blue litmus solution. Now this is fitted. Okay, now this is clamped. Now this apparatus, it is clamped to a stand. So this is stand. This is a stand. Okay, onto this stand, this apparatus is clamped. Okay, it is clamped here. That means it is fitted to a stand. Now, so actually, into this one, what is there here actually? It is having dry HCl gas. Dry HCl gas is present in this round bottom flask. Okay. So this is a beaker. Here this is a beaker which is having blue litmus solution. This is what? Beaker. This is what? This is dropper. This is dropper. This is called as round bottom flask, RB flask. RB flask means round bottom flask. And this is what? Jet tube. This is what? Jet tube. This is jet tube. Okay. So like this apparatus can be explained. Okay, this can be explained like this. Now this is the apparatus. See, just you press this dropper. If you press this dropper, if you press this dropper, what happens? The water which is present in the dropper will enter into this round bottom flask through this dropper. If you press this dropper, the water will enter into the round bottom flask. So after pressing, so I have pressed this one, so now water has entered into this round bottom flask. So what does this water do? Every 1 milliliter of water can absorb or else can dissolve 450 milliliters of HCl gas. So what happens? All this HCl gas, the HCl gas present in it, so it will dissolve in the water. The HCl gas present in it, what happens? It will dissolve in water. So now it has become a HCl solution, because that gas when dissolved in water, so it will become HCl solution. Due to this, what happens? Some pressure is lowered here, because some material is, it is dissolved because of gas, disappearance of gas here into the solution. So it creates low pressure in this area. Because of low pressure, in order to compensate the low pressure, what happens? This jet pipe will pull the blue color litmus solution upward. So that means this blue solution, it is pulled up because of the presence of low pressure here. So through this pipe, the blue color blue litmus solution will move up, and finally it will be poured into this one in the form of a jet, in the form of fountain. So fastly this one will run up. This blue litmus solution will run up and it will flow in the form of fountain. Okay. So what happens? So this will, as it is blue color solution. So here when it reaches to this, actually here what do you find? So here you will find what? The HCl gas. Some of the HCl gas is dissolved in water and some of the HCl gas is present still. So that when this blue litmus solution, when it come in contact with the dry HCl gas, so that blue solution will turn into a red litmus solution. That means blue litmus solution is converted into red litmus solution, red solution. Okay. So in this way, why it is turned to red? Because blue, generally whenever acids will turn blue litmus solution to red. Okay. So generally remember that dry HCl is not an acid. Dry HCl is not an acid. But as it is a solution, as blue litmus solution contains moisture. So what happens? In the presence of that water, this dry HCl gas, okay, it will show acidic nature. So moist HCl is dry HCl gas. Generally, dry HCl gas is not an acid. Moist HCl is acid. So because the blue color solution, litmus solution is moving up and it will come out in the form of fountain. Okay. So what happened? So in this area some little amount of HCl gas is present, dry HCl gas is present. That dry HCl gas, when it come into contact with the blue litmus solution, immediately the blue litmus solution will turn into red. That means the blue litmus solution will turn into red, because acids will convert blue litmus solution to red litmus solution. So from this it is understood that when little amount of water is introduced into this one through dropper, so large amount of HCl gas is dissolved in it. Okay, it is dissolved in this water. So due to this, what happens? Low pressure is created in the round bottom flask, and because of the low pressure is created in the round bottom flask, so the blue solution will run upwards fastly in the form of jet with a jet speed, and it forms a fountain. Okay, and that in the form of fountain, that blue litmus solution will fall into the round bottom flask. Wherever it contacts in contact with the dry HCl gas, so what happens in that area, that blue solution will appear red. Okay, so in this way, this experiment is said to be fountain experiment. Okay, nozzle. So there is a nozzle opening here. Through this nozzle, the fountain, the blue litmus solution will enter into this round bottom flask. Nozzle. Nozzle means opening. Okay, right. This is, solubility. This experiment is done to show the high solubility of HCl gas. Okay, next. The next physical property is vapor density. Vapor density. What is vapor density? See, vapor density. Vapor density is nothing but it is more. It is a. It's a form. Its formula is molecular weight by 2. If you see the molecular weight of HCl gas, it is 36.5. Therefore, its vapor density will be equal to molecular weight 36.5 by 2. Okay, so it will be 18.25. Okay, so that means vapor density of HCl is 18.25. Vapor density of air, how much it is? 14.4. Air vapor density is 14.4. So here, if you see, if you compare the vapor densities of HCl and air, so the vapor density of HCl is 1.28 times, okay, heavier than vapor density of air. So from this it is understood that HCl gas is heavier than air. HCl gas is heavier than air. Okay, there is a small experiment to show that HCl is heavier than air. We'll learn a small experiment which shows that HCl is heavier than air. Experiment to prove that HCl is heavier than air. HCl is heavier than air. Experimentally, we can prove this one. Okay. So in this experiment, just I will take two gas jars. One gas jar. This is a gas jar. Okay. So on the bottom of this, into this gas jar, just you introduce blue litmus solution. Just you pour some blue litmus solution into a gas jar. Okay, I'll draw this one again. Just to take a gas jar. Okay, this is gas jar. Okay, introduce blue litmus solution into this gas jar. What is this one? Blue litmus solution. Blue litmus solution. What is this one? Gas collecting jar, or else simply we may call it as gas jar. Okay, now take another gas jar. Take another gas jar. So which is completely filled with take another glass jar which is completely filled with a dry HCl gas. Dry HCl gas, another gas jar with a dry HCl gas. Here, dry HCl gas. So it is having dry HCl. Okay. Now what we'll do? Just a disk inverted. Here will a glass disc is covered. A glass disc. Just you cover a glass disc on this glass jar which is having blue litmus solution. Okay. Now this dry HCl gas. Take this jar with a dry HCl gas and invert on this jar. So now this jar, okay, now this jar is inverted. It is inverted. So actually what does this jar is having? This jar is having dry HCl gas. So this dry HCl gas, it is inverted on the gas jar which is having blue litmus solution. This is another gas jar. Another gas jar which is having dry HCl gas. Okay. So now after introducing this one, just you pull out this glass disc. So remove this glass disc. Just you pull out this glass disc. So this glass disc is pulled out. What happens? So here, as a dry HCl gas is, so this is having air and this is dry HCl gas. So here air is present. So dry HCl gas is heavier than air. So what happens? This dry HCl gas will slowly come down. Okay, and the air is pulled. It is pushed out. It is displaced. So air will be displaced up, and the dry litmus gas, dry HCl gas will come and settle in this gas. So and what happens? The blue litmus solution. Now the blue litmus solution. Okay, blue litmus solution. Blue litmus solution is turned to, okay, it is turned to red litmus or else red solution, red color. Blue litmus solution is turned to red color when this dry HCl gas is introduced into the lower jar. Slowly what happens, because of its heavier weight, it will sink. Dry HCl gas will sink, and here actually air should be present, so that air is displaced upward. Okay, air is it is displaced into this jar, and a dry HCl gas, it will settle at the bottom. Why it is happening so? Because dry HCl gas is heavier. HCl is heavier than air. As HCl is heavier than air, what happens? It will sink, and now this HCl gas will come into contact with the blue litmus solution. So whenever acid, HCl gas, actually HCl gas is not acid, but as it is solution, it contains water. So when HCl gas is dissolved in water, what happens? It turns into acid. Now in the presence of that acid, the blue litmus solution, okay, is turned to red litmus. So from this it is understood that hydrogen gas is heavier. As it is heavier than air, what happens? It will come and settle at the bottom, and it will come into contact with the blue litmus solution, and hence blue litmus solution will turn to red. So with this experiment we can, it is proved that HCl is heavier than air. Okay. HCl gas is heavier than air. Right. Now we will learn about the chemical properties. Okay. So under chemical properties, first one is combustibility. See, HCl gas is neither combustible nor supporter of combustion. HCl gas, that means it does not undergo combustion. It does not undergo combustion. Okay, if you burn HCl gas, it does not undergo burning. Okay, it does not undergo combustion, and nor supporter, neither combustible nor supporter of combustion. That means it does not support the combustion also. If something is burning, this HCl, if you put HCl on it, that burning substance cannot continue to burn. So that means HCl, it does not support the burning of other substance also. Hence, it is called as it is not a supporter of combustion. Okay, HCl is neither combustible nor supporter of combustion. Nor supporter of combustion. Okay, right. Nor supporter of combustion. And HCl gas puts off the flame. If there is anything burning, and if it is producing flame, so that flame is put off by HCl gas. Okay, right. Next, the action of the chemical next chemical property of HCl is action on heat. Action of heat, or else it undergoes thermal dissociation. What is thermal dissociation? Thermal dissociation is nothing but reversible thermal decomposition reaction. So that means whenever you come across thermal dissociation, you have to understand that it is a reversible reaction. So here what happens, if you heat HCl gas above 500 degrees centigrade, what happens, this HCl gas will break down, it will decompose into hydrogen and chlorine gases, and as this is reversible, that means these hydrogen and chlorine, they combine with each other at this temperature, and they reunite to form HCl again. So both forward and backward reaction occurs at the same time. Hence it is said to be reversible reaction. So thermal dissociation is nothing but reversible thermal decomposition reaction. So HCl will show that property. So HCl will break down into, it can form into two different substances. Hence this property is said to be a chemical property. Okay, right. Next, the next chemical property is action with water. Whenever HCl gas is dissolved in water, HCl gas is introduced in water, so it will dissolve in water and it will break down into ions. HCl with water, in the water HCl will break down into H plus ions. Okay, HCl will break down into H plus ion and Cl minus ions. So now what happens? Always remember that when H plus ion is present in water, immediately both of them will combine. Both of them will combine and both of them will combine to form H3O plus. To form H3O plus Cl minus is there. So like this. So that means HCl gas dissolved, when it is dissolved in water, it ionizes to form H3O plus and Cl minus ion. Okay. See, a substance is said to be acidic if it has H plus ions or H3O plus ions. So any substance, if it is having H plus ions or H3O plus ions, generally it shows acidic nature. It shows acidic nature. Okay. So here this HCl gas, when dissolved in water, So as that solution is producing H3O plus and Cl minus, then that solution is said to be acidic nature. So acidic nature of any acid is due to the presence of either H plus ions or H3O plus ions. If either this one or this one is present, then that substance shows acidic nature. So here from this it is understood that whenever HCl gas is introduced in water, that gas will become hydrochloric acid. That gas will turn into hydrochloric acid when it is dissolved in water, because that gas will undergo ionization. I mean that will break down into ions. Okay, and remember that whenever H plus ion is present in water, immediately within no time these two will combine with each other to form H3O plus. What is the name of H3O plus? H3O plus means hydronium ion. The name of this one is H3O plus. Its name is hydronium ion. Hydronium ion. Okay. So here whenever hydronium ion is formed in the solution, then that solution will show acidic nature. The solution will show acidic nature. So in this way, the action of HCl with gas, with water can be explained. Okay. Next chemical property is indicators. Reaction with indicators. See, from this it is understood that dry HCl gas is not an acid. Dry HCl gas is not an acid, but when it come into contact with water, then it shows acidic nature due to the formation of H3O plus ions in it. Okay. Now the next chemical properties is action on indicators. Action on indicators. Action on indicators. HCl gas being acidic in nature affects indicators. Indicator means here solutions. The indicator, when the indicator is taken in solution, when the indicator is in solution form, then what happens? So HCl plus indicator solution. Okay, will show chemical reaction. So that means here HCl indicator solution will have some color. So what happened? Change in the color of indicator solution takes place. Change in the color of indicator solution will takes place. For example, hence this HCl is said to be acidic in nature. HCl is said to be acidic in nature whenever if it is reacting with whenever it is added to indicator solution. So the indicator solution will change its color. From this it is understood that HCl is an acidic gas. That means it can turn into acid when dissolved in water. Hence HCl is said to be acidic gas. From this it is understood HCl is an acidic gas, but it does not show its acidic nature under a dry condition. Okay, right. So let us discuss with some indicators. Indicator, the original color of the indicator, original color of indicator. Okay. Next, color after adding, color of indicator. Okay, after adding HCl. Okay, after adding HCl gas into it. So for example, let us take indicator litmus solution. On first indicator litmus solution. litmus solution. Okay, so there are so many indicators. So litmus solution, if you take litmus solution as indicator, so the original color of the litmus solution, it is blue in color, but when this litmus solution will when HCl dry HCl gas is added to litmus solution, what happens, that litmus solution will turn into red. So blue to red, litmus solution will will turn to from blue to red color. Suppose if you take methyl orange solution, methyl orange solution, methyl orange solution, if you take, what happens, the original color of methyl orange is orange color, but the orange color is it is changed to pink or red color. So whenever methyl orange solution is converted from orange to pink or else orange to red color, then it is understood that now methyl orange litmus, it is in contact with the acid. Okay, so as HCl gas is, it can show acidic nature when it come into contact with moisture, hence HCl gas is said to be acidic gas. Okay, next another indicator, alkaline phenolphthalein indicator. Alkaline phenolphthalein. Okay. Okay, alkaline phenolphthalein solution. So actually alkaline phenolphthalein solution, its original color is pink in color, but when it come into contact with the acid, it loses its pink color and becomes colorless and becomes colorless. The alkaline phenolphthalein solution, originally it is pink in color. When it come into contact with acid, it loses its color and that solution will become colorless. So like this, the acid, its action, okay, its action on indicators can be explained. Okay, so like this. So in this way, its action can be explained. Okay, right. Now let us see the action of this HCl gas with ammonia. Action of HCl gas with ammonia. Reaction of HCl with ammonia. Action with ammonia. Action with ammonia. Ammonia. What is the formula of ammonia? NH3. See, HCl gas, when it comes into contact with ammonia, what happens? Both of them react with each other, react with each other to form ammonium chloride. White dense fumes of ammonium chloride are formed. White dense fumes of ammonium chloride are formed. When HCl gas is mixed with ammonia gas, what happens? Dense white fumes are formed. The dense white fumes are due to the formation of solid ammonium chloride particles which are suspended in air. So that means these particles, this is due to NH4Cl particles. Okay, solid particles. These are solid particles are suspended. When they are suspended in air, so what happens? So in the air, when these particles are suspended, so then it forms fumes. The formation of fumes is due to the suspension of ammonium chloride in air. Okay, so like this we can explain the action of ammonia with HCl, or is action of HCl with the ammonia. Next, action with metals. Action with metals. Generally, metals from potassium to iron. Metals from potassium to iron in the electrochemical series, they react with HCl gas. Okay, when heated, so they react with HCl gas. React with the HCl gas when heated. Okay, it will react with HCl gas when heated. Okay, to form what? To form metal chlorides. Metal chlorides. Okay, and liberates hydrogen gas. And liberates H2 gas. Hydrogen gas. And hydrogen gas is liberated and liberates H2 gas. See, this is a simple displacement reaction takes place between metal and hydrogen chloride. For example, take iron and HCl. It forms ferrous chloride, not ferric chloride. It forms ferrous chloride, and hydrogen gas is liberated. Okay, so here, so in this way, here actually FeCl3 is not formed. See, actually iron can form two chlorides, FeCl2 and FeCl3. So this is formed and this is not formed. Remember that action with metals. So during this reaction, if you heat, what happens? Only lower. So this is called as lower chloride, higher chloride. Okay, that means lower valency, higher valency. So iron is in the form of Fe plus 2. Here iron is in the form of Fe plus 3. So only the iron will in the form of Fe plus 2 only will form here. Okay, for example, if if there is any other metals like lead with HCl, it forms what? For example, generally up to iron only it will react. Okay, so suppose if it is lead, let us assume it will form lead chloride, PbCl2. Okay, lead plus HCl, PbCl4. So this is not formed. This is higher valency and this is lower valency. So remember that. So actually this reaction does not take place, but in order to make you understand what is higher valency and what is lower valency. See, always remember that action with metals. So when a metal is reacted with HCl, so that metal will convert into chloride of lower valency. Okay, so metal chloride of lower valency. Along with this, hydrogen gas is liberated. So lower chloride is formed. Higher chloride is not formed in this reaction. Okay, so like this, the action of HCl gas with metals can be explained. So all these are different chemical properties shown by HCl gas. So in the next class, we will learn about hydrochloric acid. Okay.